What's up, YouTube? Welcome to my review of the Servo Fairway driver from MVP. This one is Neutron plastic, 170 grams. It is part of MVP's newer, slower class of fairway drivers. They are slower than like the Volt and Amp and Shock class of drivers. I don't think I'm going to keep this disc, so I want to do a quick review before I trade it off. Just to let you guys know my findings with the disc. First thing I noticed once I picked it up off the shelf is that it's got a really nice feel in the hand. It's got a perfectly flat top, which you can see there. It's got a very comfortable shape to the rim design with a pretty blunt and rounded edge. And it's got a little bit more of a sharper inside edge than Volt does. I have this new pink Volt I just got in the mail yesterday on a trade. I'll throw it up next to that so you can see the difference. You'll see the Servo has that flatter profile on top and more of a gradual profile, or actually kind of more of a steep profile on the underside. The Volt kind of curls over on the top a little bit more, and it has, since it has a wider rim, it has a little bit slighter slope on the underside. You also may be able to tell that the inside rim on the Volt is actually smoother and less pronounced than the Servo. You can see the Servo has that little bit more of a sharp edge on the inside rim. But yeah, I do really like the feel of this thing in the hand. I dig the Neutron plastic for the most part, and this particular mold has a great feel. I always like the flat top and feel in the hand. After testing this thing on several rounds and a bunch of field testing, I guess I didn't throw it like a crazy amount because I just wasn't really enjoying throwing it. It just seems to have a lot more fade than I expected, a lot more fade than I look for in a disc. So while it flies really nice and straight and controllably, it didn't seem to have a lot of turn, off out of the hand. It didn't seem like it flipped very much at all. It would just hold the line. As soon as it started to slow down, it really didn't have that kind of MVP signature fade. Or if you throw a Volt out there, or say I found this with my anodes, my Axis, Tangent, all the molds that I've tried and carried over the last few years of MVP, and you throw a Volt out there, even if it rides out to the right or just holds the line, once it slows down, rather than just falling out, it just keeps going straight to some degree, gaining some extra distance as it fades out. So it's like a gentle forward penetrating fade. That's like one of the key characteristics of MVP discs that I really like. They have so much distance and carry that almost to a fault at times, especially in short range, where I've had some issues with just overthrowing my anodes. They just want to keep carrying forever, and it's pretty easy to overthrow the bucket on approach with those things sometimes, just because of that beautiful forward fade. But the Servo really just didn't seem to have that. I mean, I was even throwing it out at the field yesterday, and even into a headwind, it was kind of picking up, fading out, and like spiking down to the ground almost like a tombstone. Oh my god, apparently my breakfast is done. I'm just going to leave that on because I don't feel like taking another take of this. I'm about to wrap it up, so deal with that beep for another couple seconds. So yeah, MVP Servo, not really a disc that I'm going to keep in my system. I think it would be a much better disc if you had a bigger arm, if you were like a power thrower. It would hold that line very well, and you'd probably really appreciate its little bit more fade and stability if you have a bigger arm. For me, I'll just stick with my Axis and my Volt, and I just don't really necessarily need to have an intermediary between those two distance levels. So that's my review on the Servo. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you got something out of that. Cheers.